Okay, welcome back to another episode of Accountants for Sexy Change My Mind. This is attempt 2 with Caroline because we had some problems recording the first one. But Caroline Hobden from Accountex, welcome to the show.
Again. Oh, thank you again. Fingers crossed we have more luck this time, but it's so great to be here, Kelly. Always a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love the fact that you're on. I love speaking to you, and I love what you've done. We've had some amazing conversations in the past. You're particularly complimentary, actually, about the uprising, and it's really lovely to know that someone else shares my values, and I see that in you a lot. So it's lovely to have you on eventually.
Oh, pleasure to be here, and I love your energy and I love your spirit. So you've got my full support all the way.
Right, but enough about me. We are kicking off with an Accountex special because Accountex is coming up very, very soon. It's going to be fast. It's going to be fast upon us. And you are kicking off the Accountex special where we're going to actually be interviewing loads of people from Accountex, talking about the show, who's on it, who's like what's new, and all of that. So let's hear from you a bit about what is Accountex for people that have never been. What is Accountex?
Oh, such a good question. I love talking about this. Accountex is the focal meeting point in the year for all accountants, bookkeepers, and finance professionals. It's where you can have 1 to 2 days out of the office and be submerged in all things accounting. You're going to be hit with an amazing expo with over 250 exhibitors who, I have to say, put on some incredible displays. There's prizes, there's giveaways, there's so much effort that they put into their stands. I'm always blown away year on year. They always surpass themselves the following year as well. There's so much educational content on offer. We have not 12 but 13 theatres this year, which is there's a lot going on. So we've got close to 200 sessions. I haven't even added up how many speakers we've got because with multiple panels, you're probably talking over 400 speakers, something like that. There's loads of networking events going on. There's parties in the evening. You can learn all the latest innovations. You can keep yourself up to date. What's changing in the profession. It really is the place that's going to save you time, effort, and money. 2 days as opposed to 6 months. Someone once said to me, 6 months of research I did in 2 days. And the best thing of all is free. It's completely free to attend. And you'll be surrounded by your peers because we're expecting between 9,000 to 10,000 people at this show. So it is going to be busy. It's going to be buzzing. It's going to be energetic. And I can't wait.
But I'm not surprised. I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away when I went to London last year. London last year was massively successful, but not after some very difficult times. And it's not often that we talk about COVID now because it's like done and dusted, right?
Yeah.
But COVID hit hard, didn't it?
It hit really hard. So the last time prior to COVID, the last Accountex London was in 2019 because the pandemic hit a few months out from the show. So that difficult decision was made, obviously, to postpone the event. And we thought we'd be back again the following year. And sadly, that didn't happen. And so we had 3 years out, really, if you think about it. So 3 years out. And it was a really tough time for the whole events industry to really survive through those sort of murky waters of COVID. But I'm very pleased to say that we diversified. It is the company name, Diversified. So we did diversify. And we just went into something we'd never done before. We started delivering virtual events to keep the profession talking together, educated. And we ran all these seminars, and I'm so pleased to say that we're still doing them, these online events, throughout the year. It's a great touch point. We've got one tomorrow, actually, where we've got thousands of people registered to listen and learn on all things tax.
It's this will be going out today, and
Oh, fabulous.
tomorrow.
Oh, okay, that's great news. So we've got a whole, we call it our Spotlight series, and the Spotlight tomorrow is tax and legislation. It's sponsored by Xero, and we have got the likes of HMRC speaking. I know everybody wants to hear from them, particularly after the delay of MTD. We've also got tax expert Simon Britton, and we've got Xero speaking as well. It starts, there's a first sessions at 11, then 1, and then at 3. We like to break it up in the day to give people opportunity to get back to their desks and do things in the middle, but it's very popular. It's free to turn up. You just need to go to our website, accountex.co.uk, and look for the virtual webinars, and you should be able to sign up. But it's going to be very popular, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll make sure a link is added so people can get to it really easily.
Thank
Your
you.
virtual events were brilliant. I've done one of them myself, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But you get such amazing turn up and interaction with it. It's lovely, really good. So that just was born out of COVID. I didn't realise.
100%. Yeah, as a business, we'd never turned our hand to doing anything virtually, and Accountex was the first event in the company that started it off, to kick things off. And now several of the show teams in completely different areas are turning their hands to webinars as well. And so it was a lovely way for us to just keep in touch through those difficult times. And then we came back to London May last year, with an absolute bang. I have never seen anything like it. The profession came out in their droves, and bearing in mind, we were still a little bit on the heels of COVID. So there was a little bit of nervousness, I'm sure, from some people. But I remember that opening morning, and I was inside the hall. It was 10 o'clock. We'd given the green light to Excel to open up their huge shutter doors. And as they came up and we made that open show announcement, there was a huge cheer from all the exhibitors inside the hall. And I'm told by my team that were outside, there was a huge cheer from the visitors as well. It was one of those, I'm not crying, you're crying kind of moments. It was so emotional. And
I feel the emotion in that. I've got goosebumps.
it really was. And then, bearing in mind, that was my first Accountex as well, because I've only been in this role for just over 2 years. And the energy was there all day, both days, right to the very end. And I've never seen anything like it. I've been in this industry doing trade shows for over 20 years, nearly 25 years, horrifying to say. And I've never seen an energy like it. So yeah, all things Accountex, I am totally, I'm sold. I'm in there. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm loving it.
All that energy and excitement from a bunch of accountants. Who knew that they were that sexy?
They are very sexy. I can tell you, they're very sexy.
So, give us some highlights then from last year's. From my memory, it was absolutely buzzing. I really enjoyed it. I was there with fresh face, so I helped them a little bit. But from your perspective, what were the highlights from last year?
Oh, there were so many. The educational content, just seeing people literally queuing out of these theatres trying to get a sneak peek. I think one speaker, Sharon Cook from 2020 Innovation, who we have invited back to speak this year, her theatre was so full. She was inviting people to come and sit on the stage because there was nowhere else for them to sit. She was so popular, and I tell you, there's a few amazing tax experts coming to the show. I mean, what they don't know is not worth knowing, absolutely. So I think just things like that, watching the parties. I mean, we always do, traditionally we've always done an Accountex exhibitor party at the end of day one. But last year it really was born this whole heap of parties, and there were so many to go to for the visitors and exhibitors, and that's themes continuing this year, which is really exciting to see everybody just networking and through into the small hours. But networking, yes, absolutely, on the show floor, it's really, really important, but business is still being done after hours, and it's incredible to see. It really is. And I think
you know people, don't you? So it's like on the floor, it's like go, 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 go.
Yeah.
But then you get to relax with people after, and that's where the relationships are built. That's where the kind of magic happens.
Absolutely. And I think for me, one of the best things for me was actually seeing it live. Bearing in mind the 2022 event was a rollover from 2020. So we were still delivering that 2020 show. So I think for me, it was seeing it, absorbing it, understanding it, and knowing that now we had a fresh slate for 2023, what we're going to do with it. And we've got some really exciting things that we can't wait to share with everybody. And it's bigger. It's 20% bigger, the floor space. I've made the theatres bigger, which I know everyone's going to be delighted about. So there's more space for people to get into the theatres. And we've just got so many fun extra features to shout about. So,
now,
yeah.
this is a really weird time to be asking you because the programme isn't actually out until Thursday. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes,
so
but
I can. How much you can give away right now?
Well, look, I can absolutely share some exciting highlights with you, and it does come out on Thursday. The long-awaited program is absolutely packed and full of incredible speakers. I can't quite believe the lineup myself this year. The aforementioned Sharon Cook from 2020 is going to be talking about tax, but we've also got the incredible so famous. I mean, I am a little bit of a fan, but Rebecca Bennyworth is going to be coming along to give her tax updates as well. And she's always a very popular speaker. We've got some really interesting themes this year coming through as well. Diversity and inclusion. We've got a lady called Mo Kanjalal from Watch This Space who's going to be coming along, and she specialises in diversity and inclusion in the workplace, which I know is an area that can trip some people up. So I think there's going to be some really valid lessons to be learned there. We've got a couple of former professional sportsmen coming to the show, which I am thrilled about, being a massive sport fan myself. We've got former Premier League footballer Mark Pugh, who's going to be coming on and talking about mindset. And we've got former professional rugby player Tom May talking about leadership. And having played sport for many, many years myself, team sport, I do think there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from a business point of view, because you are working in a team, whether it's on the sporting pitch or whether it is in the office, you're working as a team. And these guys have made it to the top of their profession of their sport. And I think there's a lot to be learned from them.
There's a real... Sorry, there is a real benefit to hearing stories from a different perspective, because if you hear accountants talking about it all day, every day, that's great, but you kind of box it off like, well, that's okay for you. That's what it means to you. But when you hear it from somebody else who's outside of the industry, you start to take your own lessons. So I think there's real value in hearing that.
100%. And our program is absolutely jam-packed with accountants speaking. We've got a whole theatre dedicated to tax. We've got a whole theatre dedicated to accountants in practice, to accountants from industry, so there's going to be all of that good stuff there. But I agree with you, it's really important, especially as business owners and practice owners, you've got to have a well-rounded viewpoint. You've got to have a well-rounded approach to your staff. We've got Lee Chambers, who's very well known on social media, and he's coming to talk about well-being in the workplace, which is so important. So mental health and well-being is taking a spotlight this year, and I'm delighted to say that we have teamed up with mental health charity Mental Health UK, who are our official charity this year. They're going to have a stand at the show. They're going to be doing presentations at the show. They're going to be offering support and advice to do with all things mental health. Such an important topic. And we announced that one a couple of weeks ago, and the feedback has been incredible. And I know that they're going to be very well received on site. But we've also got some really energetic speakers. We've got Jeff Ram, who's an international global speaker, and he's going to be talking about celebrity service. So, for your clients, how do you treat your clients? How can you be different to, what's your USP? How can you be different from the rest of the playing field? And he does incredible sessions that are so engaging, and I've watched a few of them, and I can't wait for that. And we've also got number one UK motivational speaker Brad Burton coming along. Oh, he's amazing. So
a little bit of Brad.
Love Brad, absolutely love him. And I'm delighted to say We have got so much content for bookkeepers as well. So we've got a whole theatre dedicated to them. To this topic. We are working with the ICB on that. We've got Joe Wood and Zoe Whitman, who are very well known within the profession, and they're going to be doing a few sessions. They're also going to be doing a book signing of their recent book launch. So that's very exciting. And more than that, we've got a bookkeepers base camp. Now, I think the one thing that I speak to many bookkeepers, I've gone to many bookkeepers events, and so many of them have said to me, you know what, I'm a sole trader, I work on my own, and coming to a big event like Accountex is actually quite scary. Yeah, it's daunting. It's quite a scary prospect, and I don't have a tribe, and so I said, right, well, let's make you somewhere where you can meet your tribe. So we have created the Bookkeepers Base Camp, and there's going to be a place on the show floor where all bookkeepers are welcome. There'll be some free catering throughout the day. It's going to be sponsored by Xero. Joe and Zoe are going to be spending some time there as well, and they're going to be welcomed and introduced to their peers. So hopefully they can make some great connections and not feel so alone. I want everyone to feel supported and feel like they have a network and a tribe. And I think that's the best way to do it, is to highlight this on the show floor and make it a meeting point, a focal meeting point for them.
You're making this event human, so human. You're introducing so many topics that just really play to my heart. I don't know about everybody else, but they certainly play to my heart, because it is lonely out there. And like accountants and bookkeepers, they can start a company from the kitchen table. It's like instantaneous. As long as they've got the right qualifications, they can do it. So, and there are a lot of them popping up because it's lovely, flexible work, and also you can build a very viable business quite quickly.
Absolutely.
But it can be so lonely, and if you don't know how to build your network, or how to hang out with other people online, or where to go, it's awful. So what you're doing is amazing in my eyes. I love how human you are making this.
Well, we should, on that note then, Kelly, we should tell everybody about the number one presentation at the show, the number one session, hosted by yours truly, Kelly Doorne-Millott. And it is
I was going to say talk about Will Parnell, actually.
Oh, but we've got to talk about your session, because this is something that you and I have spoken about in the past, and it kind of just one of those things that's born out of just one little comment. And we're women of a certain age, and we're very aware that menopause anywhere, let alone in the workplace, is not spoken about. And this is something that I'm so excited that you're championing, and you're going to be bringing an expert panel to the show to highlight it and say, come on now, we can't hide away from this anymore, and it's not an embarrassing topic. So many people are going through it. So yeah, I'm really excited that you're doing this.
It's going to be crazy. I feel very privileged, actually. I feel very privileged that you've allowed me to be the lead in this, and to make, to kind of bring it together. The people that you've chosen for the panel that I'll be facilitating, they are an interesting bunch of people. We have a bloke on there.
Absolutely.
I can't remember. He's someone from the army, a captain, a general. I can't remember.
He knows his stuff, though. He absolutely champions this.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Absolutely bang on. So I've done some preliminary kind of chats with them, and I'm very excited about telling their stories. But most importantly, menopause isn't discussed. It's not even discussed generationally. And this is like what we need to bring to the forefront. People expect women to kind of pass on this secret knowledge, and they don't. And they don't, because they don't actually know it themselves.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of misunderstanding and from misdiagnosis, mismedication. Like it's absolutely shambolic in places. The more we talk about it, the better this will become.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really important for people to know that menopause can reach you midlife. So when you're 40s and 50s typically, and then it doesn't go away. It's not something you get over. It's not like a 3 years, oh, there she goes, done. It's something that you have to manage thereon forevermore. So women are living half of their lives going through menopause, and we still don't know enough about it.
Absolutely.
So I find that incredible, absolutely incredible.
I also think that this session isn't just for women, That's the most important thing here, is that the education needs to be across the board.
Yeah.
And anyone who works with women, anyone who employs women, you've got to get your head around this and actually understand what your employees or your partners or your bosses, what are they going through, and what can you do to support them. So it's such a valuable topic, and that's why I think it's so interesting that we have got a gentleman on the panel who does know exactly what he's talking about. Because and when I spoke to him, he just said to me, I really want other men to see that I'm there, and it's okay. They can come and join in too, and they can learn as well. So, and I think the title of the session is so incredible, because we've actually called it, in inverted commas, calm down, don't let your hormones get out of control. Because this is what one of your panelists had to endure she on several occasions, and it ended up going to tribunal. So I do think that this is something that employers need to sit up and listen to, because you don't want it to go that far, and you don't want it to for your employees to misunderstand someone else going through something. So that's so every woman's going to go through it. We're not going to avoid it. So it's really important. And I'm so pleased that you're highlighting it and you're showcasing it, Kelly. I think it's going to be fantastic.
No, me too. There is a lot that's going to come out of this session, so please don't miss it. There was one other point that I wanted to make. There are more companies with pet bereavement policies than there are that have anything to do with menopause in their contract.
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. Wow, we need to
sharpen up, people. We need to sharpen up.
We need to, absolutely, 100%. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
So that's one of the ones I'm doing. I'm also doing a panel on impact as well, which we ran virtually, which is what I referred to earlier. And that's going to be really exciting. I can't wait for everybody to hear about that again. So I'm there both days, guns blazing, with a stall this time. So please come and visit me. It's going to be amazing. The energy is going to be incredible. So Thursday. We can't. What else can you tell me about the show that you're doing for Thursday?
Well, there's lots going on. I mean, I could talk about all the speakers till I'm blue in the face. There literally is something for everybody. We've got brand new theatres. We've got theatres dedicated to communication, and that could be communicating with Gen Z. That could be communicating with people who are neurodiverse, which I'm really looking forward to. Communicating as an introvert or an extrovert, because there are so many things involved in that. And I think a lot of people I speak to can identify as being an introvert, and as it is challenging you get all that stimulation through the day, it can be really exhausting. So I think that's going to be a really interesting session. We've got so much going on. We've got a show app this year, which we haven't had before, which is going to help everyone schedule their day, because there's so much going on. So you can download the app and you can pinpoint all the...
Definitely the biggest challenge, because you have to make decisions. You have to say, who do I need to see the most? And that is a really hard decision to make.
It's really hard decisions to make.
In Manchester, and Manchester is a lot smaller.
Well, that's got 4 theatres, and we've got 13 this year. And I should say that the 13th theatre, the new edition this year, is going to be our innovation showcase. So any delegates out there, any visitors who are coming to the show and they're not really sure who, typical, I'm getting a phone call during the session. But anyone who's not really sure about what they need software-wise or services, and they want to just go and get a quick understanding of what it is that might be of interest to them and their business. Our exhibitors are going to be doing short 10-minute sessions that are short, succinct, to the point, and they can showcase all of the things that they're offering and that our delegates can benefit from. So that's our 13th theatre this year, which I'm really excited about. We've also got a networking bus. Kid you not, we have got a red double-decker bus driving into the show, and it's going to be there for the duration, because of course our show dates fall just after the King's coronation. So what's more British than a big double-decker red bus? Yeah. So and the most important thing, of course, is that surrounded by the bus is going to be free Pims and ice cream, which I mean, I know where I'm going to be. I don't know about you.
Winning at life.
That's where I'll be. But that's going to be sponsored by Zero, and it's going to be a really fun area where people can take the load off. It's a busy day. I hope everyone's going to wear comfortable shoes, but if you do need to sit down for a little bit, go and meet some of your peers at the networking bus, which is really exciting. We've also got a photo booth. Now, if you were in Manchester last year, Kelly, and I think you were, you'll have seen our wonderful photo booth, which is...
I dragged my husband into it. That's like dancing about.
It's got to be done because we've got the moving gifts part of it as well, which is so fun. But oh my goodness, that's popular, and you take your team over, get a photo together. It's fun. It's sponsored by QuickBooks, so it's just going to be
content. By the way, great social media content to put out there.
Great social media content. Get your name and your face out there. But one of the things that I, in addition to the charity that I mentioned earlier, that I'm just so proud that we've put together, formed that partnership, is that we're working with an incredible organisation called Karma, because we are working on trees for attendees. So for every attendee that comes to London, we are going to be planting a tree. So we're going to be going some way towards offsetting that carbon footprint. So it's so important that we all have these opportunities, especially post-COVID, where so many people work from home now. You don't get many opportunities to bring your whole team together. So what we're finding is that people are coming to the show to really have those team meetings, bonding sessions, bring them together. And so more people than ever are coming out of the office. So we wanted to do something as well to ensure that the carbon footprint was being addressed. And so...
But at the end of the uprising, when I asked for feedback, one of the comments was the only thing that was missing was something on sustainability. And that's becoming increasingly important. So well done for that.
It is. And you know, in addition to that, we've also got several presentations at the show around sustainability, trying to educate the audience into what they can do to start their journey in making their business more sustainable. So there's so much they can get from there. And we're also working with our contractors to make sure that all the things that they're producing are sustainable. We're looking at all the fabrics, the paper that we use, all of that. So we really are doing our very best, and we're starting this journey, and we're in it for the long haul. We're really committed to it. So yeah, I mean, there's so much going on. It's incredible. All will be revealed on Thursday on our website, accountex.co.uk. But I just encourage everybody that, you know, if you've never been before, this is the year to just take a few hours away from your desk. You know, I know you're busy. I know there's always going to be more stuff that you can do. But maybe when you get to site, you get to Accountex, you might actually find some time-saving tips, or find a new software or a new idea or service that's going to grow your business, that's going to save you time. You might meet your next employer, or your next employee. It's the not knowing what you're going to miss. You know, there's so much content there and so much to be had from it. So I just encourage everyone to come together.
I just want to go back a little bit to the introversion, because a lot of people are put off because they're on their own, like we've already kind of talked about. They might be introverted, so it's not easy for them to have conversations or small talk conversations. So you've mentioned a few things that would suit them to help kind of pull them out of their shell or get them talking to people. But can you just highlight them again so people know what they can do as a sole person coming who might be a little bit shy or introverted?
Well, absolutely. So to starters, for the bookkeepers, we've got the Bookkeepers Basecamp. So come along, and you'll find people to talk to straight away, and there's free tea and coffee. Don't tell them I said that. Maybe a few pastries. We have got this wonderful session on whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, and the differences. And the way it was explained to me, I think, is really incredible. So as an extrovert, you will start your day with an empty purse. And as you have interactions, you will gain a coin. And when you meet someone else, you'll gain a coin. And at the end of the day, your purse is full. It's brimming full, just the way you like it. But for an extrovert, they start their day with 5 coins, for example. It doesn't have to be 5, but let's just say 5 coins. And every time they meet someone and they have this interaction, you spend a coin. you spend a coin until you're left with your purse is completely empty, and it is exhausting. It's really exhausting. So I think the tips and tricks that we might get in that presentation is really important to go and look. It's going to be delivered by Amanda Watts, who's an incredible speaker, who's very well known amongst the profession. And I do encourage people to listen to that. But I think when you're coming to a show like Accountex, there's a few things that you can do. I mean, I always think that the one thing you do not want to have distracting you, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, is painful feet. So let's just get that. Let's just get that out of the way straight away. Let's wear trainers, people. Let's wear comfortable shoes. Let's not worry about that. I think as well, it's really important. I know some of my friends will insist that when they're traveling, they always wear headsets and they're wearing something in their ears that's distracting them from what's going on outside. And I think that's absolutely important for the show. You can walk around. People won't come and fuss with you if you've got your headset on. They'll try and leave you be. There are areas where you can go and sit down and take a moment, put your feet up, and just gather yourself again. So I think there's lots going on, and I think it's just taking the time, not rushing yourself. Don't try and see absolutely everything. Give yourself a moment between session and spread it out amongst the day. It will be incredibly valuable. It'll be tiring, but it'll be valuable, I promise.
And also know that other people are in the same predicament as well. There are people walking around the show that are feeling like, oh, I'm on my own. You know, they feel that pressure, but go and find your tribe. There are many tribes out there. Go and find them and just have a nice, easy conversation, because it can happen.
Absolutely. And Des O'Neill from CPD Store has a stand at the show, and he's going to be leading a panel session on neurodiversity as well. And I know that he'd be very willing to talk to anybody about these kind of subjects. If you've got any questions around that topic, he really is an expert. So do go and speak to him.
This is it's all incredible. I cannot wait. Recap on the date quickly.
10th to the 11th of May at Excel in London. And with the new Elizabeth line, it is way easier to get to. And it's going to be a fantastic couple of days. So I really look forward to meeting as many of your listeners as possible.
And the last question for you, Caroline, what is the sexiest thing about accountants?
Oh, well, I'm married to one, so I better get this right. The sexiest thing about accountants, I tell you what, having my entire family, which I may have told you before, my entire family are accountants. Coming into this world, having taken on this job a couple of years ago, I honestly was blown away by the passion for what they do, the passion for their clients, the passion for the detail, the passion for getting it right. It blows me away every single time, and I think that's incredibly sexy.
Yeah, me too. It's lovely to hear from you, Caroline. I know how invested you are in the accounting space. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to see you again in May.
I cannot wait to see you again, Kelly. This has been an absolute joy. Thank you for letting me ramble on and just get too overexcited about everything. But I hope you can hear that I just can't wait to deliver this show. It's going to be so great. So thank you, a pleasure, and thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for everyone next week, I will see you with another episode next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.